Today we're going to take a quick look at how downward swings have relationships to other downward swings and how upward swings have relationships to other upward swings. So we'll just be looking at things intraday on a 10-minute chart. And first of all, we're going to look at Netflix. So Netflix had this big downward swing from this high to this low. So I'm just going to measure that with a Fibonacci extension and then project it off of the next high. Now when I do that, you can see that this downward swing is only coming to 61.8% of its previous downward swing. So this means our downward swings are getting smaller and selling pressure may be losing momentum. What we start to see next is these upward swings are getting bigger. I'm not going to measure that because it's obvious to see. So when we have our next push up and our upward swing breaks above this zero line, we're going to activate this Fibonacci extension and move it off of the next high. Now you can see this downward swing is getting smaller. It only makes 28.2% and a little below of this previous large downward swing. So now our downward swings have gotten smaller 3 times and we're coming down to a higher low. But you can see the power of downward swings getting smaller and coming down to a higher low. Also, let's take a look at Facebook quickly. So if I measure this first downward swing, you can see if we project it off of the next high, our downward swings have gotten smaller again. So now we're only swinging down to 61.8% of our previous downward swing, and we are just barely coming to a higher low. Then if we activate this drawing again and push it off of the next swing high, we can see we only make 28.2% of our previous downward swing. So even though our lows aren't getting much higher, even they dip below in some instances, our downward swings are getting smaller and then we push up. So selling pressure again can be losing momentum when downward swings are getting smaller. This also works in upward swings. So let's take a look at AMD today. AMD had a pretty good day. So we're going to measure this upward swing with a Fibonacci extension. We're going to measure this upward swing from this low to this high and project it off the lowest point. So you can see you make not quite the 1282, but you do go past the 100% line. So when you come back down below the 100%, you activate this drawing and move it off of your low. Now you can see these upward swings are getting smaller. So we make just past the 618. If you activated this and moved it again, now you're making 47.5%. And if you activated that again, you'd see now you're making 28.2. So although I don't usually activate them and move them until we've breached the 100% and come back down, this just illustrates the point that our upward swings are getting smaller. So just to remove all the drawings, you can see upward swings are getting smaller and buying pressure may be losing momentum. Moving on to SHOP, which also had a good day. If we measured from this low to this high with a Fibonacci extension, we would project it off of our lowest point after that run up. You can see that we make the 1618 extension of our previous upward move. So our upward swings are getting larger now. So we would move this Fibonacci extension off of our new low, which is right here. Now you can see we're just making the 100% extension instead of the 1618. So our upward swings are getting smaller. And then if we move this Fibonacci extension off of our next low, can see that we make the 100 again, which isn't atypical, but it looks like it's doing it with less strength. So there you can see how upward swings have relationships to other swings, and when upward swings are getting smaller, that may be the end of a run. But you can also see, as we mentioned earlier, in Facebook and Netflix, how downward swings getting smaller may mean selling pressure is losing momentum, and you could be in for another push up. So I hope this helps in your own trading. Make sure you practice drawing Fibonacci extensions over time. You will be able to see things unfold as they do, and this should help you to gauge profit targets or potential stop losses.